Hello and welcome to the Nerd Out. I'm Lisa.
I'm Ritzy.
We're girls and we nerd out. You can follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Although as Ritzy and I were just discussing, who uses Facebook anymore? Is it you?
Don't.
I know. I swear we're going to update Facebook. You can email us, info@thenerdout.com. We love to hear from you. Is there something cool that you want us to talk about? Is there something cool in your life? Do you just want to send us money? That's also fine. You can check out our website, and we are available on the Word to Your Mama podcast network at WTYMAMA. That is the Ritzy Periwinkle brainchild. And hi, Ritzy, how are you?
Hi. Who cares about me? We are here because we want to know if you listened to the last month's episode. You talked about this country cruise and you've been on it, and I need to know everything and all the things, especially because you and I in real life didn't even get to really get any information because you had no service. So I want to know everything.
Yeah. Okay. First of all, I just want to say, because Ritzy has started posting snippets of us on the TikTok, which is totally fine with me. But some of you might be thinking, as I thought when I saw those clips, holy shit, is Lisa being kept captive in a basement somewhere and she's in danger? And look, she has a cat.
Aww.
I am in my basement, and yeah, I know it looks like it's a serial killer basement, so sue me. Because maybe I am. You don't know that.
It's like you time traveled to the 70s.
Yeah. I time traveled to the 70s, and somebody's going to put some lotion in a basket later. It's just how we party here in rural Oregon. So yes, I went on a cruise, and it was a super fun time. And it was kind of interesting okay, let's break it down into a couple of things. First, I had a super fun time. There were bands. There were a lot of bands. I saw 5 or 6 shows a day. Saw some bands that I really liked, saw some bands I've never heard of and now saw some bands that I don't really give a shit, but it was fun standing around watching them. It was a very good time. Cruises just always struck me as a floating petri dish with a bunch of people that you don't want to be anywhere near to begin with, and you're probably going to die because it's a Titanic and all of that sort of stuff. So largely I forgot about things like that once I was on the trip, and we met some really nice people. I think because everybody was there. It's called the Outlaw Country Cruise. Because we were all together there, we all like this kind of offshoot of country music, which, and this sort of becomes a little important, skews to the left politically. It's a lot of folk music, protest songs, things like that. So it's it's kind of it's already a subgenre of country music. And then it's a subgenre of that subgenre where you can largely assume that you're hanging out with people who believe in just a couple things like education, civil rights, equal rights, women's ability to choose, all that kind of stuff. So you're okay, cattail. You kind of feel like you're with your people, and everyone's so nice. So you're just standing next to somebody and you're oh, where are you here from? Okay, great. I'm not the sort of person that likes to say, oh, where are you here from? And for those of you who know Ranger Ted, my partner, you will know that he's definitely not that guy. He was that guy. Everywhere we went, he was Mr. Social Butterfly. He was like Pokemon collecting friends the whole time.
What?
Yeah. And it got to the point where I wasn't rolling my eyes, but I would be sitting there with a book on a beach, and he would turn to the people and be like, hey, where are you guys from? And I'm putting my face inside of the book. I'm you are Chatty Cathy. So what? He really he turned to me midway through and said, this is the most fun I've had in my life.
What? That's amazing.
I know.
Ranger Ted. Oh.
I think because it's just you're among a pretty friendly, like-minded group of people. There's wall-to-wall music. You just walk around. You're what's playing now? What's playing now? What's playing now? You just walk around. You see different things. The food was good. It was, it was a fun time on that front. For those of you who, and there are some of you who are music industry people who listen to this, I will tell you that the music industry part of my brain and the live music event part of my brain was absolutely intrigued by how they pull off a festival in the middle of the ocean.
That's
They
true.
they do these they have like a lot of different bands. Like they do the Kiss Cruise and the EDC. Get it? Sea, ocean. And so they do all of these other themed cruises. They do one,
They
I
do
think
the Bob Marley one, the
yeah.
Welcome to Jamrock.
Yeah, they do like Soul Shine, Kayamo, like blues, whatever. They do all of this stuff. So like they have it down, but still like it's fascinating seeing like how they make something like this run so well. And I had like so many burning questions that I was bottled up, and on the last day they did like Ask Six Man Q&A panel. And I was like, oh, we are so going to that. Like, that's one of my top things that I want to go because I want to hear what they say. And the questions that I had were, I realized quickly, a little too inside baseball for them. Like, did the bands travel with a crew? Do the bands, do they get a guitar tech or do they get nothing? Do they share a backline? How do you make them do that? Like, bands never want to do that. So I had a lot of questions like that. And people instead wanted to be like, when will we know what bands are playing next year? And I was like, all right, no. And so
what are some of the answers? Like, because I want to know.
Well, I will tell you, the very last night I was there, I went to go grab a margarita for the Final Mavericks performance. And I'm standing at the bar and I look down and I see the guy next to me has on a pair of kind of niche boots. And so it's like, hey, are those Bloodstones? And he was like, damn right they are. I have a newer pair, just never bring them. And I was like, oh shit, it's John Langford, who is in the Mekons and the Waco Brothers and in like 5 other bands that are playing at this festival. He's been like in punk and country rock for like fucking 40 years. And so I was like, oh, hey. And so we just started chatting, nicest man. And I was like, can I ask you some like music insider-y questions? He was like, yeah, bring it on. So I was like, do you get to bring any road crew? He was like, no, we don't. I was like, not even a guitar tech. He's like, not even a guitar tech. I was like, all right. Is it just like, he's like, I am in so many bands and there's so many like managers and spouses and whatever that like, frankly, we max it all out. So we don't have room to bring anybody anyway. He's like, maybe if you're like Raul Malo and the lead singer of the Mavericks, you get to bring a guitar tech, but he's like, not me. And so let's see. I was like, do you share? He's like, yeah, share instruments. I bring my guitar, but sometimes he's like, initially the drummers that I work with were like, no, I got to bring my own kit. And then they were like, no, they actually have like world-class shit on the boat. So they're fine. So like, and we were just talking about all of this sort of, I was like, what's the most fun? He was like, the most fun is 100% being able to see and hang out with my peers who I don't get to see all that often.
Nice.
So like other people in the scene, people I've known for, 30 years. And oh my gosh, and he was the nicest man. And then his band members in the Mekons were like, hey, we're sitting over here, John. Are you gonna come hang out with us or what? He was like, yeah, you want to come with me? And I was like, I do kind of want to go check out the Mavericks, but thanks. He's like, cool. If you see me around, let me buy you a drink. Like, super nice guy. And that's just kind of how it is with like half of the bands are like a little too big that they'll get mugged. Yes, the cat is chewing on me. Half of the bands are so big that like they kind of get a little, I don't want to say hassled, but I can understand if they want to like lay low. Yeah. The other half of the bands, especially people who've been doing it forever and like, probably were never huge anyway. I feel like those people get so stoked that people still give a shit about them that they're like, my people.
Yeah,
and
totally.
Yeah. So like, we like, we went on a snorkel trip. And the guy who's the bassist who played with like Rosie Flores and Jesse Dayton and all these other bands that were on it, he was on the little snorkel trip. And so I was like, oh my gosh, I recognize you. You were playing. What you did? We knew people in common. Like it was just really like, it was really fun. And it feels very much, a friend of mine described it as like, it feels like what South by Southwest felt like 30 years ago. And nice. I was like, yeah. It's like wall-to-wall music. The musicians are super friendly. Nobody gives a shit. Like this one woman who we kind of found out about for the first time, she said something and I was like, yes. She was like, for those of you out there who are stopping me in the hallways and the elevator and being like, hey, do you mind if I take a picture with you? I want you to know it is never a mind. It is always an honor. Stop me anytime. And I was like, yeah, that's kind of the vibe is like, everyone's really friendly, and we met some friends who like we kept bumping into. It was just a really, really fun time. Here's the thing that wasn't fun.
Oh.
I didn't have seasickness per se, but I had issues that I think probably are somewhat related. I was having kind of dizziness and vertigo issues. And I think that's kind of adjacent to anxiety. So that was not super fun for me. So like there would be times that I would be like, are we like tilting sideways? Like, is the boat tipping over? Are we? And like I would kind of lose my balance and be like, whoa. And that would be really freaky. And so that was it was almost like a low grade panic attack. I couldn't eat anything other than bacon because it just dissolved in my mouth, and ice cream because same. So all I did was eat bacon and ice cream and, try not to have a full on panic attack. I'm the only person who's ever been on a cruise and lost weight. Yeah.
That's amazing. I'm glad that it was the best time and that Ranger Ted found his safe spot.
His people.
His people, and that you guys are still together, because I was like, oh shit, like this could make or break. Are they still together?
Yeah, still together. Mm-hmm.
And also, I love that I would have done the same fucking shit, because this is called the nerd out. We nerd out about all kinds of things. And as production, being working in production and doing all this stuff, like you want to know, you're fascinated. Like, yeah, that's why I was like, what are the answers? Do they use the same backlight? Like, for those who did not know, like we come from those worlds. So that makes all the sense. And also, as you're talking about it, I'm picturing it, and it sounds just like a convention.
Yeah.
Right?
It does.
Where the writers, the whatever, the talent, they go there because they want to get recognized. Like, that's their thing. That's what they live for. Like, they're still in the glory. They get to relive their glory days in those specific places where in the regular world, they do not on the regular basis. But here they're like, yes, all the pictures. I want all the pictures. Yes, you can come talk to me and tell me how much you love this shit. Like, yes, and they get to see each other, hang out. It's like camp for them and like great for the peeps. So it was your first cruise ever?
First cruise ever. And
how was the room? Because you had an interior room.
We had a tiny internal room that was like, I must say, and I don't know if this is the case for all cruise lines. This was a Norwegian cruise line ship, one of their smaller, I think maybe a little bit nicer ones. But like our tiny internal room was like a place for everything and everything in its place. I was glad we didn't have a window because looking out at the ocean freaked me out. Yeah. And so like internal room worked well. But there's hooks, things that have metal in front of it so that it's not going to fall out. Like everything looks really nice. Everything's like very tucked away. And it just the whole room made sense. It didn't feel like you were in something the size of a shoebox.
So kind of like what I pictured, because I went on the site and I was like looking at all this and I was like, hell no. I was like, if I'm going to go, I want to go all decked out with the balcony and everything.
Yeah, but some people like that.
But I could see it being like one of those rooms when you go to New York City, right? Hella small. So totally. Maybe about the same size?
Yeah. We were like, this is nicer than some New York apartments for sure.
Ah, okay. That's nice. That's good to know.
Yeah.
And
it was cozy.
How did Ranger Ted fare with the food? Since he ate more shit, what did he think?
He thought it was great. I was a little nervous that it was going to be I don't know, all fried food or something.
Yeah.
They had Indian food every day. I could eat that actually because they would have a vegetarian thing, like lentils, like a dal. And that was soft enough that I could eat that, but I couldn't eat the rice. So they would have rice, dal, and then a meat dish. They would have composed grain salads. Oh. They had a breakfast bar that was oatmeal, cream of wheat, quinoa, whatever you want. Ooh, you could make a bowl. You could make granola. You could do they had all kinds of fruit, although it was never the greatest fruit. Whatever, I'm kind of spoiled. They had an omelet bar, a this, a that. They had cheeseburgers and sausages and whatever, if that's what you wanted to do. But they had lots of good vegetarian options. It was kind of buffets are really fun. And so that was pretty neat. They
and what
had,
about the COVID of it all? Like
yeah.
the health of it all. Like
I mean, I was pretty sure I was going to get sick on the cruise, and I'm shocked that I didn't, frankly. We bought like extra like, extra vitamins, extra meds, extra change of clothes, extra this, extra that, because we're like, if we get like deck of cards, if we get stuck on this ship for a week because there's like a COVID outbreak, we want to make sure we're prepared.
Yeah.
But it was fine. Like when you go into the dining area, because there's like a buffet, like there's different utensils. There's always somebody there with like hand sanitizer, so you hand sanitize before you go in. I kind of, most of the shows were outside. Or if they were inside, you didn't have to be super packed in. Occasionally
Nice.
you were packed in. The dining room, it wasn't like you sat on top of each other, but there were other people around. I kind of thought like, because you're on a boat and like all, there's like the big middle of the boat on the top is like a big stage and a pool and whatever. And then there's like hallways that go off. Like those doors are always open and shut, open and shut, open and shut. So there's a lot of fresh air, I think, cycling through.
Nice.
But yeah, no, like you definitely are like rolling the dice as far as, am I going to get sick?
You're like, this is it.
Yeah.
And then what about drinking alcohol? Is it like
I
high
did that.
elevation? Do you get faded quicker because you're
No.
out in the seas, or?
No, I mean, the funny thing is there's an all you can drink package that was like $800. And I was like, that breaks down to like 120, let's say, a day, 110. And I was like, I can for sure drink $110 worth of alcohol in a day, but can I do it every day for 8 days?
Yeah.
That's the question. And so I didn't end up getting that, and I was a little nervous about how much it was going to cost, and it was okay. Strangely enough, the alcohol did help my vertigo, anxiety, whatever, because then I was like,
Nice.
whatever, I'm just drunk. So, one of the people that we met, she had it was a gift. It was like an all you can drink premium liquor card.
Oh.
So she would be like, you want some Veuve Clicquot champagne? I was like, yeah, I do. She's like, great. So like we just drank our champagne, and like, so it all worked out. You don't get, because you're at sea level. So, it's whatever. The one funny thing that happened after the first night is they give you this little schedule, kind of like Once Upon a Time, for those of you who went to Coachella, you would get like the little paper schedules. And I don't even know if they do those anymore. And we were talking, I woke up in the morning and I was like, what would be so handy is if next time we should bring a highlighter. So you can highlight the ones you want to see. It'll make it really easier. And Ted was like, we had this conversation for 5 minutes last night. And I was like, oh, we did? No, I knew that. I just wanted to like revisit that. So, there was a night that maybe the wheels came off a little bit, but how bad could they come off if you're talking about highlighters? Like, I'm a middle-aged woman.
Yeah.
So, but it was pretty fun. We were also among the younger people on the cruise.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
There were 3 children.
Wow.
Yeah. 3 kids.
So to eat was like, it was available at all times to eat.
Yeah, there was no food between 2 in the morning and 7 in the morning, I think.
Oh, not bad, not bad.
But and then there's like 30 minutes between breakfast and lunch and dinner where like it's pretty limited and they're like changing up everything.
Do you want to support original content that supports diverse voices? Why not support Word to Your Mama? You're listening to it right now. Become a patron. Head over to patreon.com/WTYM. There are 4 patron levels to choose from, including Good Looking Out, I'm Down, Hell Yeah, and Please Believe It. Benefits include patron shoutouts, exclusive patron-only content, and so much more. Head on over to patreon.com/WTYM to take your support to the next level. Gracias.
But no, you can kind of eat whenever you want. There's also
Nice.
paid restaurants, fancy restaurants on board if you don't want to do like one of the 3 quote unquote free or like included restaurants. We just ate at the Asian fusion thing one night, and it was not great. So I was like, buffet it is.
Yeah, buffet it is.
Yeah.
Well, that's amazing, T.I. I'm so happy that it went well. And so did you guys already buy for next year?
No, funny enough, today's the pre-sale, but they haven't announced the lineup. So we're like, I'm like, as much as I would love to go, and as much as I'm sure that it's going to be great, I don't know that we need to go back to back. And I'm not going to put my money down unless I know who's playing.
Yeah, unless it's someone really, yeah.
Yeah. And so we'll see, like, if they're like, oh, Jason Isbell and Robert Earl Keen are playing, then it will be like, yeah, okay, we're going. But yeah, I just want to say, like, the People Sixth Band is the promoter that does these, and like on lock production. Like so many of their team members, they have like navy blue, they look like little sailor shirts. And they're like, you're never too far from somebody to ask them questions, whatever. The accommodations that they did for ADA attendees was like so good. I overheard a couple of times like the people thanking the Sixth Man people.
Wow.
And there was one time I was kind of standing next to the ADA section, and this woman was like telling one of the Sixth Man workers how great her experience had been, being that she like had a walker and like all this sort of stuff. And like after she walked away, like we looked at each other, and this woman that works at the promoter was crying, and she was like, this is why I do this. Like, it makes me so excited that like we can make this amazing experience for people who like otherwise would not be able to go see these bands.
I know.
So I know. I know. They did such a good job. Like, I was like, are they hiring?
Come and work the next one. Maybe you attend one and then work one.
Yeah, I know. I could be a yellow shirter. Yeah. So it was it was good. It was interesting, super fun. Ranger Ted had best time ever. I had very excellent time. And we will be back.
That's amazing. I'm so happy. I'm so happy to hear.
Yeah.
So speaking of cons, okay.
Yeah.
Today, we're recording this on the 3rd. So by the time this comes out, I think I would have already attended. But this is the second year in a row, we're going to TFCon LA, which is really in Burbank. That's Transformers Convention.
I did not know that you went last year. Did I know this?
I don't know. We went last year,
okay.
Masked up, and it was small, but it was like, oh, dope, because it was still like COVID times and stuff. You had a test and mask and da-da-da, but it was great. So this year, because it's full blown, and I'm going to say this a little lower, so hopefully he doesn't hear me.
Yes.
So we're going. I already bought the tickets like last year. A hotel through their, so we're actually going to stay there, right? And so there's it's Saturday and Sunday, but Friday they have early in the morning they have a Transformers customization class. It's like $80. They give you the form, they give you all the stuff to customize, and it's a whole thing. So I had got the rooms to do that, but I didn't buy the ticket to the actual thing. And I didn't know that everyone wanted to do it. So it sold out, that ticket. And we were on a waiting list, and he was bummed and this and that, right? But as we're getting closer and closer to it, they're announcing the lineup. So he's into the latest Transformers animation that I talked about on the show, where it has it's like a black family, a mixed family. Yeah. So the voice, her name is Brandy, I think. The voice of the mom on that show, she's a guest and she'll be there. And she started following me. I was like, oh, my son, we love this and representation, da-da-da. So we're super excited about that. So he was excited, and he was excited that her and I were talking, blah, blah. But then it gets announced for those Transformers nerding out. The great Peter Cullen is going to be there. Voice of Optimus Prime.
Ooh.
Yes.
This is big.
This is big for me. This is big for Raka. We're freaking the fuck out, right? So he's freaking out. Also, there's a guy called Dan Galzov. I forget his last name. he was already going to be there. He's hella excited. I bought Supernatural Bear, the book. He wrote a book called Bumblebee and Me because he was the voice of Bumblebee in the first one. So that was already like, right? So I do the research, and Peter Cullen is a big get, right? And he's only there on one day, and you need to have a certain ticket, like a weekend pass, to have first priority to his Q&A panel. And I was like, oh, he's going to have pictures. He's going to have tickets for his pictures and autograph. So what the Supernatural Bear doesn't know is that I bought the appropriate tickets so that we have first dibs on the panel. But better than that, for the same price as a customization class, which is like $80, I got him a ticket for a photo with Mr. Cullen.
Yeah, that's pretty great.
It's going to be major. He has no idea. I'm going to cry. He's going to cry. It's going to be epic. It's going to be epic.
That's going to be.
So,
when is
next weekend.
When is this? Next weekend.
Yeah. So the same. So I'm going to be missing. Unfortunately, we'll talk about. I'm going to be missing the Oscars because I will be there at the con.
Are the Oscars a week from this weekend?
Yeah, I believe,
Holy
if
shit.
I'm not mistaken, they're on the 12th. Can you fact check that shit? I think so. Oscars.
March 12th.
Yeah. So his panels, I think, is at 5 on March 12th, and then I have to look at what time his photos and stuff are. But yeah, man. So our goal, for the next one we talk about it, our goal is to stay healthy so that we're all healthy to be there. So he's like, oh, any word on the customization class? I was like, it's not looking good, mijo. I'm on the waiting list, but not looking good. And then yesterday he was like, hey, so it says that like for like autographs or something, like you need to buy the ticket. I was like, okay. I was like, we'll see. Like I was nonchalant, right? So yeah. So I'm super excited. And I was like telling Raka, his dad, I was like, you're going to be on video duty. We got to make sure we're juiced up. Like, let's plan it out.
Is Raka going too?
Yeah, he went last year.
And so I was family thing. I love it.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, you went last year. So I got the hotel room and made sure it was like 2 double beds for, me and the Supernatural Bear. And I did this whole thing because it was a year in advance. And then I was telling him, he's like, but what about me? Where am I sleeping? I go, you're going? He goes, yeah. I was like, all right. So then I had to change the room and but it's on and popping. And so I'm hoping by the Nerd Outs, you will be, you'll hear that we made it and it was, tears of joy. But
that's amazing.
I'm so excited. So excited.
Amazing.
Yeah, because
you go
ahead.
No, you keep on.
No, because I was gonna say, like, I was like, fuck an autograph. Like, it's about a picture because this man has been doing this for such a long time. He's like 80 something. Who's to say?
Yeah,
Who's to say?
Who cares about an autograph? Get a picture.
No,
like autographs are nice, but a picture, lasts a lifetime.
Yeah.
Speaking of the Oscars, have you seen any of the Oscar movies since we last talked?
No, that was my goal, and I have not. And I've been super busy, so I was like, shit. This weekend, I've been gone every weekend for the past 3 weekends to LA for different shit. So that's my movie time. So my goal is to watch at least 3 of them by Oscar time. What about you?
We watched Elvis, and it was interesting. It did make me think about Elvis a little differently. So, achievement unlocked. And I thought it was a really good and really interesting movie. I really want to see what are the other ones I want to see? I want to see The Banshees of Inisherin.
Me too.
I want to see Tar. I want to see The Fabelmans. And I think those are probably the ones that I will be able to get to before then. Oh, we also saw All Quiet on the Western Front. That was
how was that? 'Cause
it was good. It was This is going to sound terrible. So if you want to keep a good memory of me and just keep thinking I'm cool, please hit pause and just be done for now. Or just cover your ears for a minute. It was like the atrocity of war, blah, blah, blah. Like it felt a little like I've seen a lot of war movies. I really like war movies. This was a good one, but it just didn't bring anything new to it to me, except that it's from the German standpoint. But like, you know, and seeing like these young dipshit kids who are like, yeah, I can't wait to go to war. It's going to be rad. And they're so excited about it. And then they get there and then everything's awful and everybody's dying and there's like sepsis and legs being cut off and misery. And yeah, I mean, I was like, yeah, okay.
Same.
It has to, like, All Quiet on the Western Front was really like, I think probably one of the first really important fictionalized war books. And so, of course, since then, you know, you see like, it sort of set the stage. So it's like, I've seen Apocalypse Now, I've seen Platoon, I've seen this, I've seen that, I've seen Saving Private Ryan, I've seen them all. And I was like, I just don't, like, no, I got it. It just wasn't all that interesting to me.
It's not a new take. Because
it wasn't a fresh take.
I was like, I love this shit. Like, I'm going to watch it because I love these movies.
Yeah.
Like, and there's something about it. But it's like, they love making these fucking movies. They love this shit.
Yeah. There was just nothing new there. It was shot really well, all that. There was just nothing that, like, you know, I wasn't like, damn. Nothing about it made me say damn.
Got it.
So, yeah, I'm going to cherry pick. I'm going to see what I can see before then. And in fact, today, as Ritzy knows, I am off for Employee Appreciation Day at my company.
Yeah.
So there. And I was so excited because Ant-Man was playing in our local theater, but it left today. And what replaced it? Cocaine Bear. So am I going to go see Cocaine Bear today? Maybe. Probably not, but maybe.
So Cocaine Bear is written and directed by one of the supernatural bear's best friend's uncle.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, I have heard from people who have seen it that it is better than you think it's going to be. But also that it's like, you know, about halfway through, you're like, all right, I get it.
And it's like based on a true story. And
based on a true story.
And, you know, anyone that gets anything made and it's getting this crazy buzz and beat out Ant-Man. And, you know, I've been in LA for 3 weekends in a row. It's fucking everywhere. Big everywhere.
Really?
Right? Like everywhere on there, especially because, you know, it's the time and case came out. But, you know, as a person of color, I was like, we can't fucking get any fucking stories made. Yeah. But Cocaine Bear, all day.
Yeah, green light it. Green light it.
Green light that shit. But this story about this, no. So I was it's like, congrats. And also, this is the state of affairs. You know what I mean? No hate, but it's just like, okay. And I was like, wow. You know, good shows and stuff of people of color getting canceled. And not only canceled, taken off the platform. Like, peace out and peace out. But Cocaine Bear, all right.
Yeah, let's go all in on Cocaine Bear. And otherwise, the one thing I think that we have been really applying ourselves to is The Last of Us. Although Ranger Ted believes that the most recent episode jumped the shark. So he doesn't know if he's going to keep watching, but I'm going to keep watching.
Why does he think it jumped the shark?
He was like, if he got stabbed in the gut, he'd die. And I'm like, okay, but he's not going to die because he's the lead character.
That's not the most recent episode.
Well, and then as he's sitting there laying there, he's like, there's no way that he'd still be alive. He would totally be dead by now because he was holding out hope after the last one. He's like, he should die. I was like, he's not going to die. He's the star of the thing. And he's like, yeah, but if they really wanted to mix it up, he'd die. I was like, he's not going to die. He's the star. Like, that's the thing. He's not going to. He was like, you never know. Maybe like when we show up next time, he'll be dead. I was like, it's not going to happen. And so then when we showed up, he's like, it jumped the shark for me. He's not dead.
Oh, got it.
Yeah, I was like, well, I'm sorry. I don't know what to tell you, but he's not dead, and he's the star of the whole fucking thing, and there's many more seasons coming, so I don't know what to tell you, but he's not dead. And but I think that I just keep thinking of her as little Lady Mormont.
Right.
And she is such a good actor.
So good.
I love her to pieces.
I
So
love
I
her.
have been enjoying it ever so much.
I love it. And there's a clip that I shared where Pedro is talking about when he was approached to do it, and he was on speakerphone with his sister and his two nephews, one of them named Pedro, and he was like, "Yeah, you know, they're offering me this thing, this opportunity for the show. It's based off a video game." They're like, "What's it called?" He's like, "It's called and they're like, "The Last of Us." And they were like, "You better get that job." So I think that's awesome that,
Yeah.
you know, they were all about it.
Yeah.
I love it. It's tears upon tears upon tears. This last episode, not really tears, but it's great. And I'm here for it. I'm excited to see where it goes. I wouldn't mind if he died.
Yeah. I mean, you know, maybe they just want to like throw a match over their shoulder and walk away and be like, we're going to do this. We're going to take this in a different direction. I'm okay with that.
Yeah. Yeah. And I was asking Rocca because he played the game mad years ago on the PS4, I think we had, or PS3, I forget which one. He didn't make it all the way to the end because I was going to try to ask him for, you know, for some intel. But yeah, so I don't know. It's interesting. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah. He's in the second, like part 2, the second video game that came out, but I don't know. I'm not familiar with that one, so I don't know. Does he need to be in it or not?
Yeah. Who's to say?
Yeah, who's to say? So we have been, or I suppose more specifically, have been really into that. And I also wanted to get your take before we wrap. I wanted to get your take on the new Sam Levinson project, The Idol, and if you've been hearing about the whole brouhaha around that and any thoughts that you have.
Yeah, I was really excited about it because I thought who he had in the cast was very interesting, right? But
and for anyone listening, this is the guy, like the showrunner, writer, whatever, for Euphoria. And so he has a new series that's coming out called The Idol that he, like one of the I think the co-creator is The Weeknd.
Yeah, and he stars in it, and he's a star. And then Rose, what's his name? Johnny Depp's daughter.
Lily Rose
Depp. Yeah. So she's in and stuff like that. So I've been seeing all the reports. And I was like, well, that kind of makes sense. Because like Euphoria is based off of kind of like his experience because he was, you know, addicted to drugs and stuff like that. And then this is like, but it makes sense if you think about it because you were getting little inklings of things that were happening on the set of Euphoria, you know? And then you're like, okay. So, and then you're like, oh, he's this pretentious guy who had film that doesn't exist made specifically for him. And he's getting all this praise. And then now he's doing this other show. And it's like, you know, from what reports are saying, on the verge of like pornographic, really, for what sake, you know, of the kind of shit that he has his specifically his women actresses, you know, these positions he's put into. So I don't know. So now they're like, what does this mean for Euphoria? Does Euphoria keep filming? Does it come out? Does this shut everything down? What are your thoughts?
I mean, as you know, have never watched Euphoria, and I think that there's probably no chance in hell that the third season doesn't come out. But I am a little curious, like, I don't know. It's like on one hand, I like to think that there are people out there who are like, I don't know, people at HBO who are like, this sounds like a shit show, and I'm not into where this is going. You figure out a way to turn it around, or we're pulling the plug. But they've spent they had the female director showrunner who like filmed 80% of it, 60% of it, something. And then they basically dropped her, I think scrapped it and started over. And that was like $70 million that they lit on fire. So it's like, I don't know how much. And like the crew reports were sort of like the people on set, like Levinson and others were like, it doesn't matter. Like HBO is just going to say yes to anything that I want to do. So
it's that, you know, he's.
Yeah. It's kind of interesting. Like, it's kind of hard to dismiss like crew members who were like, I thought I was signing up for something that was like kind of more of a like feminist exploration of exploitation and triumph. And what I really signed up for is like some really fucked up rape fantasies, and I'm not into it.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of curious to see how it turns out and what happens with it.
Yeah, because I love Euphoria. Like, my friends and I, we love that shit. So if this is fucking up with that, I mean, come on, dudes. Like, fucking stop, big penis
Put your
in
dick
your way.
back in your pants.
Put it back, dude. Like, come on. Like, you're not going to get away with whatever. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's interesting to watch. We'll keep an eye out on that and see where we're at a month from now. You know, it could be like everything's shut down or this shit's never coming out or who's to say.
Yeah.
But yeah. So one last thing before we wrap is De La Soul's catalog is out finally. So please go stream all that. R.I.P. to True Goy Plug 2 and
why was it that it was never streaming?
Because had to clear all those samples. Like this music was done where it's a lot of different things, but a lot of it had to do with all the samples that had to been cleared before and then Tommy Boy and what they were gonna allow happen and stuff like that. And so, we're finally here and it's great. And now the Supernatural Bear, he knows some of their songs, but to be able to hear a bunch of them on repeat while we're driving because, streaming and it's just going to be this, next level thing. And also, DJ Fat Trick, friend of ours mentioned, how is this going to impact, these young current music producers and artists, because now they're going to have access to something they haven't had access to in never, so that'll be interesting on how that helps, motivate and shift things. So we'll see. But so next month we're going to talk about some more things that we didn't get to today. And anything else, T.I.?
No, that's it. It's lovely to see you and be talking to you nice people out there.
Same. So let's see what the next cruise you're gonna go on. Maybe it doesn't stop there. Maybe
it's the Beach Boys cruise, and then it's the WrestleMania cruise, and who knows where it ends.
Yeah. All right then. Peace out, nerds.